Tweedledees and Tweedledudes. Miss Norris here. I'm here to talk to you today about lines, rays, and angles. Now, this lesson isn't just for you, so I want you to go grab a parent, grab a snack, get cozy, and let's get started. The vocabulary we'll be talking about in this lesson are point, line, line segment, ray, angle, and the 4 types of angles: right angles, straight angles, acute angles, and obtuse angles. So what is a point exactly? A point is an exact location in space. So some examples of a point might be the period at the end of a sentence, an exact location on a map, like the star to show the capital or your destination on Google Maps, the tip of a pencil, or the dots on the connected dot picture. Just like people, points have names. It would be kind of confusing for me to ask you to find a point if you don't know what point I'm talking about. They all look the same. So you have to name it. We don't give them people names like George or Greg or Bob, even though that would make it a little more interesting. We name them with letters from the alphabet. So for example, we could name this guy right here point A, and this guy right here point S. It doesn't really matter what you name them as long as you name them. You can think of point as being their first name, and whatever letter you give them next is their last name. So let's name this guy right here. Did you name him Point T? Fantastic. Now let's talk about lines. We walk in them, we color inside them, and we wait in them for hours and hours to ride a roller coaster. But how do we define a line in geometry? Well, a line is a straight path made up of many points that continue without end in both directions. The key here is to look for the arrows. They represent a line going on forever and ever and ever.
To infinity and beyond.
Just like points, we have to name our lines. All of them have the same first name, line, but the next 2 letters are where we have our last name. This is how we can tell the difference between 2 different lines. So we can name this guy right here line BC, but here's the kicker. It doesn't actually matter if we name him line BC or line CB. Lines are pretty relaxed and flexible that way. You can actually flip-flop the endpoints and it doesn't matter. So how do you think we could name this line? Did you say line FE or line EF? Then you did a great job. Awesome. Now, wait a second, Miss Norris. I thought you said that we walk in straight lines at school. And I thought you also said that lines go on and on without ever ending. So, do we really actually walk in straight lines at school? Conspiracy. What? No, you actually don't walk in straight lines at school. This is something teachers have been getting wrong for years and years and years. What you actually walk in is what we call a line segment. A line segment is a part of a line between 2 endpoints. Now, the key word here is endpoints. It's just like at school when we do have a line. You have the line leader, who is endpoint number 1, and the caboose, who is endpoint number 2. All the kids in between help make up the line segment. When naming a line segment, you give it its first name, line segment, and then you give it its special last name by the 2 endpoints that are on the line segment. For example, line segment DE. Just like when naming lines, it doesn't really matter what order that you say them in. Line segments are as relaxed as lines, so you can flip-flop them. So instead of just calling it line segment DE, you can also call it line segment ED. So let's name this line segment. What did you name it? Did you say line segment LM or line segment ML? Fantastic, you guys are on fire. So what about rays? Rays are also part of a line, but instead of having 2 endpoints like a line segment, it only has 1 endpoint and then shoots off into infinity. Sunshine starts off as this big ball of gas in space and then shoots off into space forever and ever. When naming a ray, it is super duper important that you say her name in order. Unlike our friend's line and line segment, Ray is a little pickier about how she wants you to say her name. She wants you to use her first, middle, and last name in order. Her first name is Ray, but then her middle name is the letter above the end point, the dot. Her last name is the letter above the arrow. So for example, we would name this gal right here, Ray F.G. I made sure to include her first, middle, and last name in order. Your turn. Do you think you can name this Ray? Did you say Ray O.P.? Fantastic. If you said Ray P.O., she is offended because you did not say her name in order. Remember, when naming a Ray, you have to name her first name, Ray, then the letter above the endpoint, and then the letter above the arrow. Last but not least, let's talk about angles. Angles are going to be our biggest category of the day. First, we need to know what an angle is. An angle is made up by two rays, or two line segments that share an endpoint. That endpoint is what we call a vertex. You see angles all over the place. In the hands of a clock, on this slice of pizza, the edge of a piece of paper, or this kid dabbing. There are actually 3 different ways that you can name an angle. You can either use all 3 of its points, or just name it by its vertex. So this angle right here, I could name angle PQR, or I could name it angle RQP, or I could just name it angle Q. Do you guys notice that those 3 names have something in common? Hey! The letter Q. The letter Q here is the most important letter because it is the vertex. It doesn't matter how you name the angle, as long as the vertex is either in the middle or the only letter you use, you can rearrange the letters however you want. Can you name this angle? You name it angle CAT, or angle TAC, or just angle A? If you did, perfecto. There are 4 different types of angles that I'm gonna want you guys to be able to recognize. The first angle that I want you to recognize is what we call a right angle. Right angles, in my opinion, are one of the easiest ones to spot. They create a square corner, or a 90-degree angle. Now let's make a right angle with our arms. First, I want you to put one arm straight up right beside your ear, and then take this other arm and put it straight out. Can you make a right angle? Awesome. The next angle I want to talk about is called a straight angle. This angle is really easy to spot too because it forms a straight line, or a 180-degree angle. Make a straight angle with your arms. Just take both arms, stick them straight out, just like this. Can you do that? Awesome. An acute angle is less than a 90-degree angle. What a cute little angle! Oh. Can you make an acute angle with your arms? Put your arms straight out in front of you. This. Think of an alligator mouth. Awesome. An obtuse angle is greater than a right angle. Make an obtuse angle with your arms. Stick those arms out wide, as wide as you can get them, but not a straight angle, a little bit smaller. Awesome. So let's review. What kind of angle is this? What kind of angle is this? What kind of angle is this? And then what kind of angle is this? Fantastic! I think you guys have got it. Now I want you guys to go and do some practice on your own, and I will see you tomorrow when we talk about classifying triangles. Bye guys.